right, Greg. So another segment of Hot in Hollywood where we kind of talk about, some things that we care about or
Yeah.
things that are new in Hollywood, of course. The big news, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it because we've already talked so much about it over the weeks. But, the big news is still when are theaters going to reopen? That's the
Right.
number one question that I get asked. We don't have any inside information.
No.
As far as everybody knows, Tenet is still planned for mid-August. And really, that's kind of still the gauge. Industry insiders are saying not so much. They don't really think that it's going to happen in August still, but that's currently the plan.
It seems like you hear one week, okay, they may open up next week, but then something happens, somewhere either here locally or across the country, and things keep getting pushed back. And I know I've heard from other friends as well, who do what you and I do. They're concerns about, what may happen to some of the theater chains because,
Yeah.
even though they're not getting anyone in, but I mean, they still have to pay the bills on the building and,
Yes.
whatever the heck else, goes along. And those are big places. So,
Yeah.
What may happen, in the future? Might some of these places have to close down, which we hope they don't.
You're right.
Of course.
It still seems like so close, but yet so far away.
Right.
It's like the carrot they keep dangling in front of us. That being said, too, the other bit of news is, as always, there's always news every year. We lose people in the industry. The big one this past week or so was, of course, Carl Reiner, whose impact just goes across, television, movies, everything.
Right.
One of the most influential guys, ever in entertainment. As we're recording this today, we just learned that Kelly Preston passed away at age 57. So instead of talking about celebrity death, we thought today on the show that me and Greg might talk about celebrity life and maybe some of the superstars of Hollywood that we really appreciate that are still living and that you guys should check out and become fans like we are. One thing I was going to point out, I don't know if you caught this, Greg, but speaking of Carl Reiner, he starred in a documentary on HBO that people can now watch at Amazon. It has one of the coolest titles ever. It's called "If You're Not in the Obit, Eat Breakfast."
There you go.
And it's a documentary about movie stars in their 90s or above, and it's kind of narrated by Carl Reiner, and he goes through there. And that just got me thinking of all of these celebrities that are old, that are still living. Of course, in the midst of all this, Olivia de Havilland just turned 104.
Right. The last surviving star from Gone with the Wind. And oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. I looked up some others, though. Sidney Poitier, 93.
Yeah.
George Siegel, you're a big fan of, 86.
Yeah.
Sean Connery, 90. Al Pacino turned 80. Who are some aging stars that really kind of you think people should check out or that you are just huge fans of?
Well, you mentioned one, especially Sidney Poitier. He got this great, life of film work. I mean, everything from drama to, in some cases, comedy and, just fun things. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to check out any of his stuff, please do. Robert Redford has also always been one of my most favorite people.
Absolutely.
It started probably when I was a kid and I saw it on TV because it wasn't around to go to the movie, but to see Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. And he and Paul were just so cool. Everybody wanted to be like them.
Oh, sure.
And then their next movie together, The Sting, which is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Absolutely.
Him and Newman again. And then All the President's Men, which just to me, that I could, every time I see it on TV, I have to watch it.
I had not seen that until college, and it blew me away. I absolutely love that movie. It's one of my favorite movies, All the President's Men. Robert Redford, 84, by the way, if people are out there wondering. And there's also, you have a favorite recent movie that is kind of celebrating like aging female actresses, Book Club.
Yep, Book Club. I love Book Club because, as you know, I'm in a movie club, which is like a book club. And me and the ladies always get together and drink wine and talk about, stuff about different movies. But yeah, the best part that I thought about the movie Book Club is you had 4 women. The youngest was Mary Steenburgen, and I think she's, in her mid-60s. Then you got Candice Bergen and Diane Keaton, both in their mid-upper 70s. And then Jane Fonda, 80, where... 10, 15, 20 years ago, that would have never been the stars of the movie.
Two that I have to mention to people if we're celebrating age is, of course, a lot of people when they think of Carl Reiner can't think, can't not think about Mel Brooks.
There you go.
His best friend in life. He's 94. He's just an absolute rock star. He's one of my favorite human beings. I would love to celebrate him all the time. But if people haven't watched, his classic films, from Blazing Saddles, Young Frankenstein, High Anxiety, my personal old favorite of his is History of the World.
Oh, that is good.
I still quote that movie constantly. And if people haven't seen History of the World Part 1, there never was a Part 2, nor was there intended to be. Go check that out. I'm going to leave it on another forgotten guy just because he's retired from film. This guy has not been in a film for over 16 some years. Gene Hackman.
Oh, yeah?
Is 90 years old, still kicking. I love Gene Hackman, and stick around on the show because later in the show, we're going to do another WTF segment with film critic Nate Adams where we talk about films that we can't believe we haven't yet seen. And we're going to go through the filmography of Gene Hackman as part of that to celebrate him on today's show. So everybody go give Grandma a hug, or I guess through your Zoom camera or something. Just show your love to people that are still here. Tell them while you're alive because you just never know. Right?
Amen. Amen to that, Tom.
That's what's hot in Hollywood.